This is the Weighing In podcast with Rick and Gina. This podcast is a collaboration between Empower Weight Loss and Lifestyle Coaching and Next Step Lifestyle Coaching. In this episode, we respond to the inevitable question that anyone focused on weight management asks at some point. That being, should I take a break? If asking this question, chances are one is already leaning towards yes as an answer. And we hope that our very candid discussion here shines a clear light on the hard and usually not well thought out consequences of that decision. Should I take a break? Is coming up next. Taking on a really big topic here. I was wondering, Gina, if you could argue maybe the biggest of topics. You know how in our program we have said attendance is the number one commitment for decades, and it is,
yes.
Right?
Yes.
Well, so what are we talking about here? Should I take a break from the program? Or I'm going to take a break? Or I need a break?
I need to take a break.
A ton of permutations, right?
Yeah.
But if attendance and sort of sticking in the program by attending the sessions is the number one commitment for long-term success. And the outside research is very consistent that when people attend programs, and there's lots of different programs, they just do vastly better than people do on their own.
Right.
So could you argue that this topic of taking a break, should I, shouldn't I, what if I do, what if I don't, it might be one of the bigger things we've talked about.
I think it's one of the bigger things we talk about, and it's also very present right now this time of year, at least I find. I mean, it could be something that takes place throughout the entire year, but I think right around the holiday season, people start to get overwhelmed. There's more food around. People start to get struggle a little bit more with all the food in their environment, starting with Halloween, kicking off, national.
I was just going to say, for Betty and Bob who are listening to this next August, can you just tell us what time of year we're in?
Yes, national eating season defined by, the beginning, Halloween through really the new year. And one might even argue it's through the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Right. So
absolutely.
So I think it's definitely one of the biggest topics, and I think I see it rear its ugly head now more than ever, although certainly it's something that we hear throughout the entire year. Summer being another big time.
It's the other big one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this one really, wow. So here's a question. Should we just start by just reality-based thinking here and conversation about how normal it is to want to take a break? How common it is, how normal it is, how understandable it is to want to take a break from this work that, let's be honest, it never ends.
Right. Yeah. So I think it's really normal for people to want to take a break. And I think it's so easy when you're struggling, or maybe even not. Sometimes it's that you feel like you've done really well and, I'm good. I'm all set. It's really normal for the human brain to reason and rationalize why it's okay to take a break.
Yeah.
So, like all the stuff happening, so people, I want to take a break. I need to take a break. And the thoughts that are going on in the mind that allow that to happen, it's really quite fascinating and interesting and very real and normal.
Very, yes. So you just said a huge word there, rationalizing. So can I push back on something that you just said?
Sure.
Well, I don't think you meant it this way, but you said there are times when people are rationalizing and times are tough. And then there are people who are just doing really well. Yeah. Let's not have a false equivalence on this.
Right.
What percentage of people who have told you they're going to take a break, you said to yourself, they probably should. They're just doing great.
Never.
Never.
No, but here's my point. What I meant to say is that I think you can get to your goal weight and feel like you're done and it's time to be done. So I guess that's a little different. Like, I'm done. I'm ready to go out on my own, and we've kind of talked about this. Like, the person will say to me, you are the best coach I have ever had. You have prepared me well. I am ready. I've never learned so much. And off they go. And meanwhile, all the while, I know nobody's ready. after having just lost 60 pounds, 100 pounds, because I know how hard the job is and that it is an ongoing process. Yeah, so they're a little bit of two different buckets. So I should have been a little bit more clear.
No,
Yes.
no, I was just being provocative and silly because I know what you were going to say. I didn't know that you were going to say never.
But don't you, I mean, have you never had that conversation with people? Like,
All the time.
yeah. So
All the
it's
time.
two buckets. Like one, the person who's really on the struggle bus, reasoning and rationalizing that it would be better for them to just take a break, which we'll get to. And then the people who, this isn't the take a break, but more the I'm all set.
Yeah.
Which is sort of the same thing, but coming from a different mental space. I don't know.
I think struggling is the sort of the helicopter type
Yeah.
on the whole thing because
Yeah.
struggling can come across in so many different ways.
Yeah.
So
Agreed.
let's go right to the example that you just gave, which was this is in some ways this is almost cheating because certainly for people in our programs, when you show this one where the person who is in phase one, the weight loss phase, gets to their goal weight and somehow thinks that things are solved, I think most people would kind of hit that one out of the ballpark in terms of speaking candidly to that person about you probably should stick around. But we have an actual example of that. That was on a public Facebook page. And let me pull it up here. This got so many comments, so much conversation for people.
I remember this
Yeah.
so well.
In fact, you know what? I realized when I filled in for you on a Friday morning, do you remember
Yeah.
when I came to your clinic? This was one of the slides because it had such an impact with our members because it was just so obvious. So let's just be sensitive. There are some people who may be just listening to this podcast, certainly if you're listening on Apple Podcasts. But if you're listening on Spotify, you can flip the switch so that you can watch us as we're talking, but also see the slides that we're showing. So read it. The headline is, I have reached my goal and am moving on.
Right.
And
hello, my HMR family. I have reached my goal. And so I am moving on, but have tons of food left. I have roughly $300 worth of food, shakes, soups, and bars. Good luck, and everyone stay strong. You've got this.
You've got this. And don't you just get the impression that this person truly believes that they've got this?
Yeah. Well, there's like the emoji with the bicep.
Yes. I mean, it is almost astonishing. There's not even a suggestion of an inkling of a doubt that things are going to go anything except really great. Well, to this person's credit, obviously they tackled it at a very high level in phase one. This person's feeling confident, feeling motivated. We can presume that he or she lost a lot of weight, right?
Yeah.
And now getting rid of all of the foods that drove the weight loss and is now going out into the world of endless cupcakes.
Right.
Incredible.
It is incredible. But that's sort of what I was talking about. Like there's this false sense of security that people have. It's as if losing weight is it's sort of that culture of I'm on a diet, I did the diet, and now I'm done.
Yeah.
Goal achieved, number seen on the scale, off I go. And we know because of 30 years of experience doing this work that it doesn't quite work like that. I mean, I hope the best for people. I don't want people to not do well. I can just only speak from experience, and I'm sure you can too.
Yeah.
We'll struggle. It's hard.
You know how in your program you talk about in the beginning, you kind of have called the opening discussion the mindset gym?
Yes.
It's one of Bill and my favorite things that we do in the program, which is we'll take something that people have thought about and dealt with for decades, most people, but then we put it under the microscope and entertain looking at it in a different way. How many times will someone say something like, I'm confident it'll be okay. We don't have to make it about taking a break forever. I'm going away for the weekend. It'll be fine. But then you put that under the microscope and you say, how many times have you gone away before and it wasn't fine? And sometimes the answer's every time in response to that. So it's just there's this surface treatment that is very easy to fall into. But then when you just take the time and really sit with the realities of the work and people's histories, it starts to shine a little bit more of a lens of clarity on the issues.
I remember a guy once said to me who had been in the program that I worked with in this was a long time ago, but he lost over 100 pounds. And after he left, he did that, he left because he thought
Mm-hmm.
it was all set, kind of like that slide. And he came back again because he had gained a good amount of weight back. And that's always great. I welcome people when they want to come back. No
Of course.
judgment,
Of course.
shame, nothing. Um, and he said in class one day, and I thought this was interesting. He said, I thought when I lost the weight, I would be a different person, but I'm the same person who loves cheeseburgers and French fries. Just because I lost 100 pounds, that part of my brain isn't magically wiped away like a computer program,
Yeah.
like erased it. You can erase something. No, it's still with you. It's just quieter. The voice gets a little quieter, but
Yes.
so I just thought that was it stuck with me as an interesting way to convey the message to people through him.
How many examples do you have of people who, for whatever reason, people take breaks. They do. It's the perennial question or conversation in their minds. Should I take a break? How many times have you had people come back and it didn't go well?
Yeah.
It's kind of the standard experience. And I really like how he said that.
Yeah.
I'm the same person with the same, and let's take all potential biases or judgments out of that. I have a set of over-practiced, conditioned responses to the environment that I live in, the food environment in the United States, and they produce a predictable result on the scale. And to undo and to rewire all of those habits, behaviors, responses, and practices, boy, does it take a lot. Now, you say it like that, and it's like, well, yeah, of course, that makes perfect sense. But then the avoidance behavior, the rationalization, the justification, the promise, the excuse, it's just, we're masters at it.
Yes, we're very good at it. And I think when you lose a lot of weight and our program makes it such that losing weight is, I don't want to say it's effortless, but it's certainly easy to get into a rhythm and momentum. When you lose a lot of weight, you feel great, that whoopee effect. And it's so easy and I really do think of it like two voices, almost like the angel and the devil. It's very easy for those older, overlearned habits to just get dormant. They're quiet. The voices are quiet, but then you go out into the world and boy, are they woken up really fast.
Yes.
Because of the environment and the stimulus and the commercials on TV and the cultures and, we're heading into the holidays. I mean, the traditions around food are nonstop.
Yes.
And that gets really daunting. And so they wake up really quickly because they're still there. They're still in you.
Yes.
And it's so easy to just think it's like they pack their little bags and off they go. No, they don't.
Yeah.
They're still there.
The example we just showed where someone just had obviously a lot of momentum in phase one, in the weight loss phase. It's such a great example. We all know that is temporary unless you, in a very systematic, ongoing way, continue to rebuild and nurture your momentum. But just, boy, out there, again, falling back into old habits, it's very predictable what can happen. So I want to make sure that this is, there are many people, most people listening for whom that case is a very obvious, great way to start. It just showcases the extreme. I'm taking a break because the problem is solved. Most people probably aren't thinking that, but they still fall into the thinking, again, very understandable, of, I think I need a break. I think it'd be really great to take a break. And it actually can start to turn into, it's probably a good idea
right.
that I take a break. So let's just come back to the rationalizations, which are just so easy to fall into. It could be, I just can't handle this right now on top of everything else that I'm dealing with. You sort of alluded to that, the person for whom they're just so busy and they're just feeling overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
So can we unpack that one a little bit more? Because I think that one's pretty common.
Yeah.
Life is busy. People have so many responsibilities. We live in a distracted world where already all our finite cognitive reserves are already spread wider than they have ever been in history. So it's understandable if you're feeling exhausted about tackling this task that never ends.
Right. Right. And I think for people, it feels overwhelming because you do have to give it some of your energy.
Mm-hmm.
You have to give it some thought, and you have to give it some time, and it takes practice. So it can feel like one more thing to do. Going to class, doing your numbers, keeping records, doing exercise, planning exercise, bringing your fruits and vegetables, all the things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I
I
get
think
it.
one of the other challenges of this is that the rewards are, let's just say, sometimes inconsistent.
That's a good point.
You know, you have this phase where everyone's had some experience losing weight, and it's wonderful, and you're ready to move mountains. But then as it gets longer and longer, yay, I didn't gain weight. I mean, it's just not as powerful
Yeah.
as the I lost weight,
I know.
which is, I mean, there are not too many things that are more powerful in terms of the reward chemicals in the brain than that one, I think.
I don't think there's anything more motivating than seeing the numbers on the scale go down. Although, unfortunately, that we put all our energy into the piece of data on the floor or whatever is not the whole point. But anyway, yeah, it's motivating when you lose weight. And to your point, when people are in a maintenance phase, when they're trying to maintain weight that they've lost, or maybe they're trying to lose weight and they're adding more tools to the toolbox, it's slower.
Yeah.
And it's not as motivating. So it's easy to get into that mindset of like, no, just need a break from this. It's too much.
So back to your rationalizations, because I think this might be one of our takeaways when we're finished here to come back to, which is being aware that we are all humans in various areas of their life are masters of self-deception. So again, going back to that obvious example, I've lost all this weight, I'm selling all my, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. The person doesn't not believe they believe
Right.
that it's going to be fine.
Of course. I also want it to, I'd love it to be fine.
Yeah.
Like, I don't wish ill will. I would love them to walk out the door and be like, awesome, off you go. You've graduated. It's not that I don't want people to do well. I just know that the reality of how hard the job is.
Mm-hmm. The ability to deceive oneself it's just so strong. And again, we're all very good at it. Again, that's such an obvious example. But how about people who've been at it a while and they do know they've had their moments where they've pulled things together and they've regrouped. And one of the biggest strengths of our program is it's clear. People know what to do. And it's not a matter of not knowing what to do when this whole siren song of maybe I should take a break. You know, I'm just really busy. I'm overwhelmed. It's not that you don't know what to do. Really what it is we are very good at talking ourselves out of doing it.
Right.
It's just how it is. You know, it could be just as simple as, you know, I'm only going to eat one cookie, right? I mean, that's like the classic example, right?
Right. Yeah. There's so many. How about the, you need to get up and go to the gym. You've made the time. The alarm goes off. No, I'm just going to sleep today. I'll go tomorrow.
Yeah. It'll be fine. I'll make up for it tomorrow.
I'll make up for it tomorrow. I'll eat less today.
I'll eat less. Yes, I'll have a great day on the food. And then there you are. You've just given yourself the green light to feel much better about not going to the gym. The cookie one. Everyone has that one. I'm just going to eat one. Well, two. It's not like I'm going crazy here. I'll just have a second one. Well, you know what? There's only 3 left. So let me just finish it. And then how about this one? If I finish them, then they won't be around anymore. I mean, you could just keep going on and on.
I used to do that with wine.
Yes.
I'd open the bottle and have a couple glasses, and I was like, oh, one more. And then there was such a little bit left. I'm like, I may as well finish it because,
Absolutely. You could even
I do it too. I've done it. We all do it.
You could even do I'm just going to have one glass, and then you pour 6 ounces and you say, well, that's just not enough.
I know.
Don't do a heavy pour. There you go.
We do it. It's the human condition, as you say. It's so true. I think everyone can relate to that.
So should I take a break? It's the question that speaking to our audience, if you haven't asked it, first of all, I think we'd be surprised, but you will. It will happen. It's guaranteed. And the first point that we made right at the outset is it's normal, it's very common, and it's very understandable. This is hard work that never ends. I try to come up with a task that has the long-term necessity involved. I mean, there's very little. I mean, even your mortgage, you pay that off eventually, right?
That's true.
But
That's
but
true.
not weight management.
Yeah.
No big time off on this one. So it's normal. It's understandable. This is hard work. And then the rewards we also mentioned are not always there. It's not like, well, I do XYZ and I get my reward. It's not always quite so clear cut as that, which makes it challenging because that
Right.
can lead into that, a little bit of that resigned thinking
Can feed into
that,
that for sure.
it's not really working that well anyway.
Yeah. And one thing I just want to say too, and I think this is like a bigger point. Um, the reason that it never ends is because it's a lifestyle. And I think you and I hit that hard to our members. And that doesn't mean you never enjoy something that you love again, but you need to learn to do it differently. And that's very hard to do in this world. And so I think the reason it doesn't end isn't because we want to keep you prisoner for, the rest of your life, but it's because it's a lifestyle that takes a lot of practice.
Mm-hmm.
Have to learn to do things differently and form new habits. And it takes a lot of practice. And I just wanted to say that because I want to make sure that people get it. We're not just wanting to keep you hostage here. There's actually a reason behind it.
I think practice is the right word. I think in learning theory, there's literally the term over practice,
Yeah.
which is you don't just practice it a bit. You're trying to develop new automatic responses to food, to the time in the day. Should I go out for a walk? Should I, get up, get out of the chair or whatnot? And that's a long process in the brain to lay down the neural pathways to support new habits. But that's one of the beauties though of the brain. You do something enough, the brain starts to automate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it encodes it, and then it puts it in a deeper part of the brain where, how many times have you gotten in the car, driven somewhere, and you're just like, I don't remember a minute of driving here.
Yeah. Or you're driving somewhere new and you're just all of a sudden you're like, I'm on my way to work.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to go there.
Yeah. Oh, right, the wrong
On
place.
pilot. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Can I just say one last thing? I know I'm very chatty, but I think these are important little points. And I think maybe you told me this or someone way back in my early days with HMR training, which was some great, that you have to respect, or at least I'll say I respect the fact that if someone is coming to me and they've been doing it one way for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, you can't undo 20, 30, 40 years of overlearned behavior in 6 months. I mean, you can think you can. Mm-hmm. And there we go with the rationalizations and the reason, right? Because you feel so good.
Yes.
But you can't. And you have to, I respect that. Like there's a respect for how the human brain functions and works. And I think that's an important point. It takes time. It just takes time to create those new habits and to create those new neural pathways and all of that, which is doable.
Right. Very few people are up to the task. Because there is this whole sense of wanting to, we've talked about this in previous conversations, wanting to be in control of your life and believing that you have agency in your life. Can you imagine if you didn't? I mean, I think that another form of that is called being depressed. I have no control of the thing. So people desperately want to be in control of their life. And I think through obligatory evolutionary point, you evolved to believe that you had control, and therefore you could then act on the fact, and then you were in action and whatnot. So it's sort of built into us to think, oh, I've got control of this. I have agency in this. And it really doesn't work well around trying to manage weight in an out-of-control food culture. It just doesn't. You can't will yourself to weight management.
Great point. You can't will yourself to it. Yeah.
No. You can't. There are a lot of things you can will yourself. You just buckle down and you just put in the time. You just make it happen and you get it done. Well, not with this.
Yeah, agreed. Good point.
All right, so we started with the obvious. Thank you. I'm done. The overconfident person who is probably about a half an inch thick of thinking. It's just going to be fine. It's going to work out. I'm changed forever and whatnot. And now we've just touched on a second category, which probably relates to a whole lot more people, which is life throws a lot at all of us. And to keep this particular plate spinning on top of everything else is a big, daunting task. Having said that, let's apply another level of reality-based thinking to this notion of, I'm so busy, it probably does make sense for me to take a break right now. Does it?
Right.
Does it really make sense?
Well, that's the reality-based thinking in coming into the reasoning of the person, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So let's like get into what really actually happens. And I think you could almost say that the person who I just don't have time for this right now.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? You're going to need to spend a lot more time
Right.
on your weight management in the
Right.
future if you take a break now. And take a break, even that term sounds safe.
Mm-hmm.
There's another way to say it,
Mm-hmm.
which was, I'm going to stop being accountable.
Right.
I'm going to, people often don't realize this, but I'm going to start doing less exercise.
Right.
I'm going to enjoy a much wider variety of foods.
Right.
I mean, that's what taking a break means.
Right.
Right.
So let's say the person came to you and instead of saying, I need a break, they said, I want to do less exercise, enjoy more of the foods that I like, and I don't want to have to keep records and be accountable to you.
Yes.
Okay. So, right. It's like translation, take a break into all of that. It's 100% true.
Yeah. And I want to, we're having fun with this. I don't want it to sound flippant to people who are listening, but we're just literally putting it under the microscope and just saying, the 10,000 repetitions of this that we have seen, that's pretty much what happens. It's your point that you made earlier. I'm still the same person, but then the kerosene on that fire is the default behaviors of society are everything that we just said. You sit, you don't walk, you enjoy the wide buffet of foods that are available. You don't limit your choices, and it kind of goes against human nature in general to do any of those things. So this makes it a little bit of a harder avoidance to sort of buy into when you're starting to talk this candidly about it. I want to take a break because I'm too busy right now. Well, what does one think is really going to happen if you take a break? I mean, we just mentioned the accountability is lower. The exercise is likely to go down, not up. The food choices are likely to widen, not stay structured and narrow. So play it a little bit further. What's going to happen physically, weight-wise, health-wise?
People are going to start to gain weight back. Yeah. I mean, and it's magical thinking to think that they won't. That's what I like to call it, magical thinking.
Yeah.
Let's call it third alternative thinking, but magical thinking, so they think they will, but they won't. And then if you want me to take it further, then the overwhelm that they feel and the stress that they feel in their life is compounded now, because this thing that they once had a handle on and made them feel good because they were losing weight, now they don't again.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Yes. I might even say that any way that one's life is better, quote unquote, because they took a break, it doesn't almost by definition have to be short-lived, because your weight, how you feel about yourself, and then the hard medical values that are associated with that, all of that, you can only not confront that for so long as you're enjoying your break. But then eventually you're going to need to start confronting the realities of it. So again, it's just a very hard message.
It is. I sometimes use the word protect with people. If they're talking about taking a break, like, you have a lot to protect.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a different perspective. Like, you've lost the weight, sure, but you're off of 4 medications, and that's a lot. I know you need to help people see the other side of it too. It's a tough spot to be in, but everyone goes through it. I think it's normal. Like you said, how we started. And I think just to raise a level of awareness, and then to just get people to think, what they really need to do versus what they maybe think they need to do.
Absolutely. Let's talk about, we had a little bit of a laugh with this one, which is, that people will present different reasons why they need to take a break. So again, the first category was the obvious extreme, overconfident, right? The next one was just life is busy. I'm overwhelmed. I've just got too much going on. This can't remain one of my priorities. And I think hopefully we've just sort of developed this perspective of it's still a priority. You're just kind of kidding yourself that it's not in the moment. Let's talk about the one where it's the confident complimenter. You already mentioned this person, but this one's a real curveball for health coaches such as you and me. So what might it sound like?
I've had it recently. The person does reach their goal and they say, "You are the best coach I have ever had. You have taught me more than I have ever learned in any program. I'm going to tell everybody about you, but I'm good. I've got this. Thank you so much."
Oh, yes.
And
Yes.
so it's kind of hard because I'm like, it appeals to my ego. I love to hear
Yes.
that. But at the same time, I'm like, no, stop. You have to stay. That's the whole point.
Yes. You just said it. It's like there's two things going on there. There's the appeal to vanity, which
Yeah.
very few people are immune to that.
Oh, human.
Oh, gee, I did a great job. Wonderful. And go forth and prosper.
Yes.
Thank you for the compliment. But then there's the appeal to gratitude, which is, heartfelt gratitude when it's expressed to you. It's just all the warm and fuzzies. And it just makes it really hard to respond with a hardline message. It's like inconsistent. You've got this gratitude and the compliments and as the coach, if you could just be completely unedited, it's like, hold it. Nope. Thank you. Appreciate that. All of that. But now let's talk turkey here. Right. And the realities of what you're facing. It's just really hard to do it when someone has just flooded you with compliments and gratitude.
Yeah. It's really, really hard to do.
Yeah, it's really hard.
But unedited, that's exactly. I'd be like, okay, thank you, but you need to stay. And here's why.
Yeah.
Hard though.
Translated, anyone listening who's considering dropping from Gina or mine and Bill's program, that's probably your best one to go with. At least you'll put us on our heels.
Before you leave, make us feel really good.
So I think a whole separate podcast is on this failure syndrome that we talked about, which was the ability to rationalize and to talk yourself out of that which you, on a pretty fundamental level, most people know what they need to do once they've been in the program. I want to throw one other thing out there before we finish, which just should have us have such respect for how enticing the take a break conversation is. So, I'm somewhat obsessed with the ways that we deceive ourselves, biases, cognitive distortions, and whatnot. I think this is a big one, a real big one, as it relates to I'm going to take a break. So it's called time discounting. Let me just show it here on the screen. And this is just how humans are wired, which is that we don't place a high value generally on rewards the further out they go in time. So if you're just listening here, picture a swooping line. It starts high on the left and then it drops precipitously and then it starts to level out horizontally. And that's going left to right. That's time. And the drop is in the perceived value. So a great way to look at this, Gina, is if you just looked at this. So now all of a sudden we have this sooner, smaller reward with the immediate gratification reward, and we just have two pictures of Oreos here.
Yeah.
The perceived value is very, very high, particularly if you're an Oreo person. Put in whatever tempting food you want there. It's hard to say no because we're creatures of immediate gratification, and that's the way that we have evolved. We prioritize the now. And we're here. We existed as a species because we took care of the issues that were in front of us. The whole thing about life was treacherous and whatnot. So the further out you go, it's not like you had a lot of retirement planning 200,000 years ago. Yeah. The further out you go, the harder it is to bring the level of urgency to whatever the reward is, simply because it's further out in time. So on this slide, we have like the larger reward that comes later, down 50 pounds. It just doesn't hold a candle to the Oreos, which are right there in the present. So there are lots of examples of this, many examples of this. Like you could say to someone, I'll give you $100 today, or I'll give you $120 in a month. Most people will take the $100. Even if you say, I'm guaranteeing you $120 in a month. We prioritize the now. The Oreos, the $100 now. Yeah. Even though that'd be a crazy return on your investment, 20% in a month. My God. So what's your, I mean, can you see where I thought this might tie in nicely to the taking a break thing, which is,
Well,
my success long term, but I want to take a break now.
yeah, I need it now. And with the inability to kind of see the larger, bigger reward of keeping weight off long term, it's what I want in this moment.
Yes.
And I mean, it's nice to be in the moment, but in this sense, it's probably not a great thing.
No.
Yeah.
And
And I think it also just speaks to instant gratification all around the board. So here you have this instant desire. I need to take a break now. So that the reward now, having that met right now. And then you're going to go out into a world where we're all about instant gratification around food. So it all kind of it's a big snowball. And
such a snowball. And just to sort of to emphasize how much this is built into us, just think about another example is, let's say, an expensive purchase. How much easier is it to put a credit card down than just to fork over cold hard cash? It's very difficult
right.
compared to the credit card, because the credit card, it's like, well, I'm not really spending the money. You are spending the money, but you're not spending it now. So another great example that I heard was, this is going to relate. I wonder if you relate to this. I don't know about this about you or not, but I'm definitely a victim of this. Binge watching TV at the expense of sleep tomorrow.
Yeah.
Let's just throw in one more episode
Yeah.
now. I'll be fine tomorrow later, just not placing the value on the sleep.
Right. Right. The larger reward of the sleep. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually, I value sleep.
So you superior human being
I
who
am.
doesn't binge watch anything.
No, I have, but I do it early. I start earlier in the
Oh,
day.
you start. Well, how creative of you.
Which has its own problems.
Just way to problem solve that. Oh, that's great. Yeah. So should I take a break? Well, I think our argument is no for many reasons. But first of all, yes. I mean, I can see why you would say that, because this work is hard for all the reasons that we've talked about. But understand, and I think these are the takeaways, you will fall into that line of thinking and rationalize the best possible excuse for why it's okay, because that's what humans do. That's what our brains do. So just be aware of that.
Right.
Be aware of that, and pause. Don't make snap judgments, and really try to fight the second thing that we just covered there, which is this time discounting thing, where we tend to get very fuzzy about how much value there is in some sort of a reward the further out it goes. And we are talking about long-term success with weight management and health management. And sometimes it is hard to place a value. Oh, that's way out there. There's so much else happening right here and now that I need to worry about.
I kind of posed this question to my members last week, knowing we were going to do this, and a couple things that I heard that I thought were interesting. So, why not take a break? So this one guy said, well, when I come here, I'm taking a break from out there.
Oh.
And I thought that was like, he's like, let's flip it. He said, you need to flip it.
Oh, that's great.
And I thought, well, isn't that interesting? Never thought of that. So I loved that perspective. So, and then,
well, can I say on that, don't we also say that about the micro strategies, like shakes? Shakes allow you to take a break from all, or the entrees, or the more is better with fruits and veggies. It's just a break from all of the myriad decisions and decision anxiety that come along with it.
Yeah, absolutely 100%. And then I think the other thing is, people often, and it's probably in the bucket of overwhelm and too busy, but people want to take a break when they're struggling, and they rational. And the rationalization is, I'll just get my act together and then I'll go back. Because I often hear from people, I'm wasting your time, Gina. I'm just wasting your time. I'm wasting my time, which no one's ever wasting my time, by the way.
No, that's right there. That is a very sophisticated avoidance. Mm-hmm. That's just the best possible thing I can say to justify, let me have a break, because the goal is to take a break. Let me find the best rationalization that will work to justify it most effectively. I'm wasting your time.
I hear that. I've gotten that one.
Yes.
And then I would say to the person that's struggling, if you're struggling in the program with accountability and coaching and community and support and good ideas and assignments to work on, What makes you think you're not going to struggle out there
Right.
where there's food queues and everywhere you go? I mean, I get it. You want to think you won't, but just think about that. Just before you make a decision, just think about that.
Yes.
And then let me know.
Yes.
And that was a good takeaway from our conversation last week. So I thought I'd just pop that in there.
We're wrapping up here, but you did drop a term earlier that I think bears defining. You said third alternative thinking. And this is a phrase that we've used for decades. There are two alternatives. The first alternative is you do the hard work of your lifestyle and you experience the results with the weight management and the health management. There's the second alternative. You don't do the work and you don't see the results. People fall into third alternative thinking all the time. Somehow, some way, magical thinking,
Yes.
I'm going to not do the work and somehow still get the results. There is no third alternative. There is no third alternative. So that's the clearer people can get about that, the better, the easier actually the work will be.
And I think third alternative thinking is just, it's there to give people a green light to do what they want.
Yes.
Really? They're not going to say that. They don't know that, but that's what it is.
Yes.
And so if we can say that to people and kind of at least make people aware that if they start to go down that path, there is no third alternative.
There's no third alternative. There just isn't.
And I also think just quickly, that when you choose to stay in the program, in spite of all of the conversation that you may be having in your own mind and with your coach, with me, with Rick, you are choosing to tolerate some discomfort. And I can't overstate how important pushing out of your comfort zone at this time, how important it is.
Yeah.
Because aren't we all in like this comfort crisis? We just want to feel comfortable, and taking a break makes you comfortable. Staying in the program is a little uncomfortable. And I get it. It's uncomfortable because I'm going to push you. You're going to continue to do things that are hard. But when you break through that, there's your reward. And, I could go on. But
yeah, exactly that. I'll just say you tolerate a lot of discomfort now, but you save yourself more discomfort later.
Yeah.
There's an awful lot of suffering. I don't think anyone listening needs us to say too much about this related to feeling like you're failing to manage your weight and your health. That is very tough. So taking a break can be an enticing idea. People often hope that it's going to work out and not lead to the very thing that they joined the program to avoid. And I think we can end the podcast with a quote from James Cameron, Gina.
Okay.
Right? People rely on hope. And he said, hope is not a strategy.
That's so funny. As you were wrapping up, I was about to say, hope is not a strategy. But there we go. Great minds, as they say. That's so cool.
That's great. You and James Cameron. I often think of him when I think of you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I hope the conversation is useful and, again, grounded in some reality-based thinking, which can sometimes come across a little bit hard, but it needs to be done. So that was our goal today. And hopefully the arguments that we laid out made a lot of sense for people.
Yeah. Get people to think a little bit.
You bet.
All right.
All right. Till next time.
Till next time. Bye.
Bye.